I'm on Giles Mountain on a fire tower. Giles Mountain is in Vermont, partway between the White Mountains and New Hampshire behind me, and over that way are the Green Mountains of Vermont. It's a good spot to test out What's Mountain. I'm going to open up my app. I'll skip the intro, and I want to calculate for here. So it figures out, looking at GPS, where I am, and then it calculates based on elevation data what's around me. Now, I downloaded that data before I left town, where there was, a data network. It's going through finding names right now, and here we go. There's a map showing where I am. The map marks the peaks around me, and I can orient depending which way I'm going. Now let me look at, and way off there are the White Mountains. I can see in the great distance Mount Washington, that farthest peak over there, and Moosilauke a bit closer. And swinging around, there's Smurfs Mountain to the east. And if I go dramatically south, there's Ascutney. That's a pretty distinct peak down there. Coming over here, there's a whole combination of peaks in Killington. That's a ski resort. And if I pan up to the north, I see Camel's Hump, and beyond that, the Chin. The Chin is part of Mansfield, the highest peak in Vermont. That's Killington behind me. You can see the ski slopes. One of the things I wanted to show you was that you can look at a peak like that and zoom in on the details. So I've got Killington. Oh, I'm going to pan it down a little bit. There we go. I can see Killington. I can tap on Killington and I can find out a little bit of details. It's 26 miles away, stuff like that. So let me zoom in by spreading my fingers on the Shrewsbury area, and I can see some of the subsidiary peaks around there. I can see things like Pico, Snowden, stuff like that. One last thing I wanted to show you is that once you've created these profile of the mountains and the map, you can send it to yourself or to a friend of yours. So I'm going to push that, the thing that looks like a click button, and I can message it. So I'm going to message it to myself. It tells you latitude, longitude, and location. And off it goes. There are a few things I can show you indoors as easily as outdoors, so let me do that. First off, load up iPhone, or load up WhatMountain. Skip the intro. I want to look at the other locations. So a few different ways. I'm going to enter a place by name. So let's look at Mount Marcy in New York. I'm going to select NY. Oops, overshot. Now type in Marcy. And let's see, gives me a choice of a few different Marcys. Pick Mount Marcy and go. Now it's checking for local data, see what's already on my iPhone. And right here, it shows me a map of where I have data, where I don't. The red squares mark where I do have data. You notice those are over where I live. And then the blank area, where the blue dot is Mount Marcy. And around it, it shows some blank areas. I don't have data. So let's load up some and download. Now, this is going out to the USGS, collects a lot of data, it kind of synthesizes it into something that WhatMountain can use. You'll notice that there were 2 or 3 grids marked up in Canada that I didn't check. Those are something, depending on your settings, it may ask you, look at all adjacent grid marks, look at only the one I'm in. I chose not to look at those. I don't think we'll get a view that's far enough to see Canada. But it's going to take me a few minutes to load, so just relax. This, by the way, is why you might want to upload your data before you go on trail, so that you've got it all already cached inside of your device. Okay, it just finished the download. It shows me that it's still missing those spots in Canada. I don't care, so I'm just going to say continue. And now it's going to start drawing my mountains. I'm getting my red bar that says drawing ridges. Apparently the Adirondacks are a pretty complicated place to draw. Finding names, trying to put names on all those ridges and mountains. And there we are. Again, we have a map which is centered at Mount Marcy, showing all the peaks that we can see that have names. And if I want to look at them, I do the same thing as I did if I was on top of the mountain. I have to hold it up. So when I'm looking off to the northwest, look off to the west, there's Algonquin, Iroquois, Boundary Peak, stuff like that. If I switch over here to the south, I can see a whole lot of other things. A few other things I want to show you right now is that you can manage your data. So I'm going to hit the Manage Data button, and this shows me what data I have. This is where I can load it up ahead of time. I could say select, and then pick spots maybe over here in Maine that I haven't loaded up yet. Or if I change my mind, I could say I want to get rid of these spots in New York and dump them. So let's delete those. The other thing I want to show you is what's under settings and information. Right now the first line says use center and neighbor data, so that's why it was asking me beyond the grid where I was. I can tell it to only look at center data. I can say for the center mark, always ask when you download, never ask, or ask if it's only on cellular. I can delete old data either automatically if I've got more than 2 gigabytes, or never, or something in between. And it also tells me whether I've got Wi-Fi or not right now. The other thing I can do is I can go over here and pick some information. I can go and look at, I get some tutorial on how to do all the different things within here. Flat map viewer, how that works and so forth. But the only point of having an app like this is to go out and do some exploring. Have fun.